Welcome to the Madison Parks meeting on May 1st. Our first order of business is the minutes. Have you had a chance to review the minutes? And if so, can you give me a motion to approve?
Should we call to order first?
I said welcome to the Madison Parks.
Okay, sorry.
Do I have to say call to order?
I don't know. I'm not sure what the decorum of it all there.
So moved.
Okay, there we go.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, so we do accept the minutes from March because we did not have an April meeting. And the claims, do we have some questions? I have a question about the bike repair. Is that from down at Gaines Park? There's a $2,200 Madison Stellar project. Does that mean the money came from
Yes.
Madison Stellar? Okay.
Crystal Beach for the new.
Oh, Crystal Beach.
Yes,
Okay,
brand new for Crystal Beach.
okay. Thank you.
Good.
Anybody else have any questions about claims made? Because we have 2 months' worth with not having the meeting.
No.
No, I've asked around about the Greaves one already. It's just appliances and things for that for the new
Event space
event
above
space.
Crystal Beach.
Yes.
Okay. All right, new business. Oh, can I have a motion to approve those claims,
Motion to
please?
approve the claims.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Claims approved. New business, project updates. Let's start with that.
Yes, just quick updates on Oak Hill and Gates Park. Oak Hill is moving along quite well. In the process of installing the playground equipment. The cornhole area is completed, backfill. They'll start doing fencing here probably in the next week or so.
Excuse me, is your microphone turned on? Now, okay, there you go, there you go.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So we're moving along fairly well at Oak Hill. The cornhole area is backfilled and completed. We're in process of installing playground equipment. Pavilion's done, sidewalks are done. We should be doing some fence posts here in the next week or so while we continue on with the playground equipment install. So things are moving along quite well there. All of our equipment that's been ordered is in for Oak Hill. For Gaines, the basketball court has been resurfaced. The back half of the sidewalk is complete. Fence posts are installed on the north side and on half the south side. So again, that's moving along fairly well. And we're starting in the back and moving our way forward.
Is there any talk yet of setting a ribbon cutting for Oak Hill? Are we to that point?
Well, I think our goal for finishing Oak Hill is by Memorial Day weekend. We haven't set that date yet, but I think probably we'll know that within the next week or two.
Okay,
As long if the weather cooperates and we can get the equipment installed quickly, then I don't see how we'd miss that date.
okay. At this time, I'm going to ask our new Assistant Director, Tanya Burnett, to please come to the podium to give your report. Please make sure the microphone is turned on. You'll see the little red. There you go. You're good.
Hello, my name's Tanya, and I just met both of you guys. I did type up a report in your packet there, just some updates of where we are on events for the senior center and then Hunter Hall as well. Fundraising for our events is going along quite well. We're just shy $7,000 for our summer events and have a couple big sponsors that normally sponsor, just waiting to hear back from those. So I anticipate that'll be covered within the next week. Our list of events is there with all the dates. And then the senior center listed some bullet points there. Really just started listening to get ideas from the seniors on additional activities that they'd like to have and spending some time with them. Seeing what we currently have, what we can add to that. There is a 100th birthday party for Anime on the 25th. If any of you guys are available to come to that, I'm sure they would love for you to be there. We've got a couple different activities scheduled for them this summer, an afternoon tea and then some art classes that Kara Fox from Little Golden Fox is going to partner with us and do those classes down at Hunter Hall. And then I do have a draft agreement in there for you guys to look over for Hunter Hall with the fees in particular that we'd like you to look at and see what you've thought about those and get forward. We've had several calls of people wanting to use that space already. I have ordered the rest of the tables and chairs and kitchen equipment that we need to go ahead and use that. All that will be here. Half of it's already here. We're waiting on a few things, but everything should be here in the next couple weeks other than the refrigerator and freezer, which was 12 weeks out, but we can still use the space before that gets here. And if we need to, we can get a loaner from Greaves for that. So I don't know if you guys have had a chance to look over that agreement, but that's really the biggest thing we need to get approved from you guys, is just so we can start renting that space.
Well, I think $50 per hour, 300 for a full day is a pretty competitive price point.
It's
Yeah.
half of what the rest are, and we
Yeah.
were trying to keep it
Yeah.
low just because it is a public city
Right.
facility, so we didn't want to be as high as the other places, but there wasn't any place that was less than 600.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
The dates of like everything that you have listed here for us,
Uh-huh.
I'm assuming those are current on the website, so people could right now go on and find the dates for the movies in the park, the parade dates, everything. And it's easy to find, like if you go to the parks page, is it
Under
really easy to locate?
events. Yes,
Under events.
under events. And we will we were waiting on finalizing sponsors before we get posters out, but we'll be plasting posters and around town and then making more posts on Facebook of those events. But we really needed all of the sponsors finalized to get those out there.
Okay, and then, did I see the movies in the park you already have in the window on Main Street?
Yes,
So that people can right now see what those movies are and,
yes.
okay. Does anybody else have
Questions?
question?
Yeah, any questions for me?
I'm sorry, did you say when the event, the Hunter Hall space will be ready for rentals, or?
Well, we're really just waiting on finalizing the agreement.
Okay.
The last tables and chairs are coming in. We could use it now.
Oh, okay.
We're
I
just,
didn't know,
the fridge and the freezer's gonna be the longest. It was 12 weeks out to get those, but, I mean, people can still use the space without
so if
that.
people are calling, you're just telling them you're taking reservations now?
We have not.
Not, okay.
No, we have not.
But as soon as, if we pass
Once the-
this, then we could start taking reservations?
We could.
But we would have to tell them up front that the refrigerator and the freezer have not come in, and it would be a loaner type. There would be some
If
limitations.
that's needed, we'll have to get a loaner from Greaves, yes. And that is doable. We bought the freezer and refrigerator from Greaves, so they're very accommodating with.
Can we pass it today, or?
I was gonna ask if you, I did have time to read it, I didn't know if you guys,
I did.
David, have you had time to read it?
I've read the first 2 pages.
I know I had the question for you about the cleaning fee. That was the only thing that stood out to me, that you would charge the same cleaning fee for an hour or all day. But I know people can make as much of a mess in 1 hour as they could all,
Yeah.
Well, do we have to charge them a cleaning fee, or can they clean up themselves?
We were gonna keep it that they had to pay the cleaning
to pay
fee
the
to
cleaning fee,
us,
so it'd be
yeah.
400
You
okay.
just don't know if people are gonna clean it to,
Nah, I understand that. I was
our
just curious.
standards.
Yeah, I just wanted to know the answer to the question, that's all.
yeah.
All right, well, Tanya, thank you. Maybe by the end, we'll see if David's had time to look at
I'm
it.
Okay.
on
Any
the
other
last page
questions
right
for
now.
me?
Oh, okay. Any other questions for Tanya before we bring Scott up?
No, ma'am.
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks, guys.
Tanya. And Scott Klein is our new Parks Director. At this time, I'm going to ask him for his reports, and you're welcome to stay right there because you have a microphone.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Going to be talking about a few things, some wide-ranging things today. First, a little bit on updating on personnel. We are currently advertising for a athletic program manager position. I've received 2 applications online, interviewed one person, and I'm waiting an interview on another person this Thursday. The person I'm interviewing on Thursday, I think, is a strong candidate for that position. So I think if references work out and the interview goes well, I think we have a good person for that position. The other position that came free as of last Wednesday is the golf course superintendent position, and also we'll be looking also for a greenskeeper position, as the second person in charge has decided not to continue working as well. So the good news is we haven't put together a position description for that, but I do have an application from an individual who surprisingly checks all the boxes that I would want. So I'm excited about that, trying to coordinate an interview with this person and figure out timing. Right now, it's kind of an all hands on deck. We aerated the greens today, tried the best we could to top dress them, but our sand was just way too wet. So we're going to try again tomorrow. Roger's been burning the candle at both ends, and our street department have been fantastic at coming up and helping us. So we are in the maintenance mode, trying to keep things as nice as they are while we wait to fill this position. So we're going to be working diligently on that. I was out this morning at 7 pulling cups and marking sprinkler heads. So again, all hands on deck to keep the golf course in great shape and playable while we fill this position. Summer programming is robust. We have a lot of things to offer this summer. And into the fall, we do have some fall programming online in Rec Desk. Right now, we have 15 different programs listed in Rec Desk. Some new items include a dance camp, a cheer camp. We've got some art classes that are going on. We have our fall flag football, tackle football, cheerleading, volleyball, basketball are already posted. Our summer programs for baseball and others are posted as well. We've completed flyers, which we've handed out in your packets. Started printing those today, and we'll finish printing those tomorrow. Get those out to the schools on Thursday so the kids can take those home. We've got a pretty good response right now. We have one swimming class that is completely full, another one that has 11 out of 12. Water aerobics is completely full with 4 people on the wait list. So we're getting a good response right now just online with what we have, but I think once we get the paper in the hands of the kids, we will have a big response next week. So I'm looking forward to see the outcome of that. So again, we talked a little bit about Sunrise Golf Course. There is a packet, there is some information in your packet regarding some financials on Sunrise so far this year. We have the GL summary pertains to the month of April, and then the sheet behind it kind of references where we are to date, year to date. It's similar to what you were all seeing before. I've done things a little bit different, and I will continue to do things this way, where I break out the expenses on line items versus just an expense line item. So we'll see our food cost, our beer cost, and some of the other categories that I like to account expenditures in categories, not necessarily just one big lump sum. So at some point, we'll be able to understand what we have for food costs. Was it costing us to sell food, and was it costing us to sell beer, whether we're making a good enough profit for that. So that will be ongoing in how we kind of watch the expenses at the golf course. Revenue so far to date, we're $271,000 against $91,000 in expenses. So right now we're doing fairly well. Roger has also furnished his sheet. The back is called Sunrise Monthly Goals for 2023. Roger set an aggressive goal of $400,000 in revenue for this year. He's broken it down by month and a percentage based upon typical play. Right now for the year, we're just about $7,500 under his projected budget for revenue. So I think we're pretty good. He's again set an aggressive goal. So we're doing fairly well there. I think the other thing that's really, really good to see is our total number of rounds are about 3,144, and our member rounds are only about 1,389, so less than half of our rounds are memberships for the year, so that's daily income. So that's a really good number to have for us. We want daily play. We want our people who are buying annual season passes, as we should be calling them, but we also want more and more people walking in the door and paying for cards and paying for their rounds. So that's going quite well as well. Roger, you have anything else you want to add to that?
No, I was,
Hey, Roger, you get your
yes. I was really hoping we'd, hit that, April number. I put a little attachment on the bottom there. We had two big events this weekend, the, Madison Boys Invitational, and then we also had a, baseball watch party for the sectionals. So there's about an extra 2,000 outstanding and payables for the month of April. That's gonna put me just a few $100s short. And in relation, he said aggressive goals. Last year, if you take the season passes out, last year we did about 260,000. So that's where I'm trying to get to 400,000, over that number, this year. So, it is pretty aggressive. To be honest with you, didn't expect to hit a whole bunch of those numbers, but, if we do, I think we'll be in, even if we get close, we'll be in really good shape. Any other questions about that?
Roger, I just wanted to ask you how I know, you have a new person doing your food or helping you with the
Yes.
food, and how's that going?
Absolutely fantastic. Chrissy Whittem, I've known her for a long time. She handled the Shaw concession stand for 10 or 12 years, something like that. So I was looking for somebody that I could, trust to handle things. She's worked great with the kids. We've got a lot of kids working in there, and she's great training those kids too, teaching them some things. But she's growing into it. Not a lot of golf knowledge, but I'm picking her up on the terminology and the flow of play. For example, the invitational on Saturday was a shotgun start where everybody starts at one time. Well, it creates a lot of people coming in at the same time too. So it's a little bit different flow of volume, I guess is the best way to put it. So that's kind of just one of the things where I'm kind of teaching her the golf terminology and how the golf operation runs. But yeah, she's done a fantastic job so far. I'm tickled to death with it.
Good.
I was there Saturday, food was great, and, Roger, how robust has the tournament sign-up been for, reserving Sunrise?
It's better. I was hoping for more. And I'm getting calls all the time and emails all the time. One of the things on there, the golf board, we were going after a college membership for Hanover College. The golf board kept bringing up how many rounds they're playing. In the past, I wasn't there when they had held events, but really I was just trying to make contact and try to give them value on what their students are, would be if we charged them at our facility. And I was really hoping to get another event out of Hanover College. And just as I was forming the email to go to the AD, I got an email from the coach. So they're already planning an event. And in relation, we were charging $3,000 per team. So max we would get out of the Hanover College would be $6,000. We do one event, and I'm pretty sure we can do, over that in just one outing. So that was just one of the examples where we're starting to get, more activity. A lot of the corporations in town, Arvin Sango, we're having an event at the end of May for them. So it's starting to turn around, as well as trying to promote more league play too. So I've got leagues on Monday night, 2 church leagues on Tuesday, one couples league from last year on Fridays, and I had another couples league that wanted to join the Friday. So that's something where we can really see a big change in our cash flow once we get some league play out there in the afternoons.
Since I have the opportunity, I'm gonna go ahead and thank Roger. I was the tournament director for the Invitational this weekend, and Roger was fantastic to work with. He's been really accommodating, in junior golf in particular. He's just continuing the tradition to make junior golf accessible. I think that's part of the reason why our programs are so successful, compared to other places that are always trying to nickel and dime little kids and young adults. And we don't do that here, and that's, part of the reason why we're so good for that. And also just want to shout out to Kenton Williams and Royer for also donating the food food costs. That was really big of him to do that. That was really nice. I also like to say that I think part of the reason why the course seems to be doing so well is I think word's getting out that I think the course is in good shape. It's run well. The people are good. And I just think that the reputation for Sunrise Golf Course continues to improve.
I agree.
Fantastic to hear. Thank you
Great.
for serving on that golf board too, Jake.
Any other questions for me?
Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Roger's been great to work with, and we've been spitballing a lot of ideas and looking at big picture things, and I'm looking forward to a long relationship working with Roger as well. So thank you for all that you're doing. I appreciate it. Onto the campground, again, you have a sheet for the campground. Basically, right now, reservations are up 21 year over year from last year. Our revenue is up about $5,000, $5,300 for the year. Our expenses are down about $700 for the year. So we're about a $6,000 positive net variance from last year. All good news. Things continue to improve down there, and Doug's doing a good job maintaining the area and keeping things flowing smoothly as people come in and go out, and we're looking forward to a good year at the campground as well. The last thing on my report is Arvin Sango. Arvin Sango has reached out to us, and they're interested in paying for their employees to play pickleball. I've had conversations with them trying to figure out the fee structure and how we're going to do that. We've come down to basically creating a sign-up sheet, so when their employees come in, they can sign up, and then at the end of the month, we'll bill them for the usage until we kind of see a number, I don't want to bill them $3,000 and 40 people show up. I'd rather see what they bring to the table, and then we can go from there. So we'll create a sign-up sheet for Arvin Sango, allow them to come in and play pickleball when they want to, and then we'll just do a tally at the end and send them a bill, and they'll pay for that. So another generator of revenue and interest down to Brown Gym, so we're excited about that as well. Any questions for me?
Well, I would be curious on when we can start to see movement at Crystal Beach.
Right now, the biggest thing we're waiting on with Crystal Beach is permitting. The state is holding us up a little bit on a renewal for permitting, so we're waiting for that. We think a couple weeks, we should be able to hear.
Sooner than that, actually. So, we're ready to go to start turning dirt. Construction contract's been signed, all the local approvals are in place, financing secured. We do have a floodway development permit that we're waiting on. We think we'll actually wrestle that down this week.
And that comes from the state?
That's from Department of Natural Resources.
Okay, so that's really the one
So,
thing we're waiting
Yes,
for at this
yeah,
point.
Our goal is to get out there, and, the good news is we'd already done the demolition of the pool, so that gives us a little bit of margin of time, but our goal is to get out there very soon and have R.L. Turner, who was the contractor deployed to the site, mobilized and begin construction. The filter system has already been received, so some of the longer lead times, materials and components we've been ordering.
Excellent.
We're getting close.
But even though we're waiting on that permit, we're still on target for the May
Yes.
date, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then, Scott, I know we've mentioned to you about looking at the budget and for us being able to keep tabs as we go throughout the year. And I know that you've been working on that. Can you give us a time frame on when you would expect that to be?
Well,
available?
right now, we're waiting for the clerk treasurer's office to finalize data input for this year. They're getting close to getting that done. They got a new server about 3 weeks ago, which then helped speed things along quickly. So I think once they finalize getting all the backlog in, which I think honestly will probably be in the next few weeks, we should be able to start generating reports. And I would hope by the next park board meeting, we'd be able to report out line item by line item.
Okay. Anything else for Scott? Okay, I would like to make a motion. I move that we accept the rental agreement for Hunter Hall so that people could start using it.
Second.
All
Can we
those
open
in-
it for discussion, please?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I've got a comment here for you. I would discourage you from assigning a per-hour usage fee. I think that's going to be very difficult to manage. If you're going to do it per day, do it per day, and not say you can come down and rent for an hour. I think that's going to create a lot of management issues. Nobody in town does a per-hour rental fee, so I would discourage the use of an hourly fee, and it's all day or nothing, candidly.
But wouldn't that enable us to maybe rent to more people because we offered that?
Well, you might, but it's really gonna hamper your, it's gonna cost more for us to do that, and then you would reduce your revenue potentially, because, let's just say, renting it for one day is very different than renting it for an hour each day of the week. And my concern is, you're really stepping down, the value of the property, and it shouldn't be an hour-by-hour rental.
I agree to that to some extent. I know like Poplar Place and even Red Bicycle rent for half days. You can do half day or full day. So that would be, to me, the compromise, that instead of saying just full day, because a lot of people, we had a graduation party for my daughter for 2 hours, so we set up for an hour, tore down for an hour, and had it for 4 hours.
What was the half-a-day rental at Poplar Place?
I think it was $400.
Again, there's value here. This is a premium location, premium facility. You don't want to devalue it by doing, in my opinion, an hour, or, I mean, if you do a half a day, that's fine. I think your rates are very, very inexpensive for the marketplace.
Let's table it, talk about it for
Yeah, let's
one
do
more
that.
month.
Okay, and Phil will be back next week, so next month he can, all right, so we'll table that for now, but I will not give up. I want that
No, I'd love to
space
see
to
it
be.
rented out. I'm just
I
saying.
just
is
want it
that-
accessible, I know, and it's a
Yeah.
busy season coming up with,
Well, why don't we do this? I mean, let's go
graduations
ahead.
and
I think
weddings.
we need the agreement so we can start taking reservations. Let's go ahead and approve the agreement and then monitor it. You can always come back and amend your raise. I just, again, advising, don't give it away. And I'm not saying that there's not, situations where, a nonprofit may need it for 2 or 3 hours, but you're gonna be very busy with this space, and managing, event rental space is no easy thing.
You know better than I'll look into it more if he suggests it.
David, what are your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts?
I do, but I don't want to talk about them right now.
All right, so we'll table it for 1 month and we'll hash it out. Public comment. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to approach the podium and speak with us? Oh, we have a new person here.
New person. I always like to say the good things.
Okay.
So
go
Roger's here. This is awesome. Roger's here. I think it's important to recognize people who go above and beyond what they're paid to do. And so Charlie got to see Roger behind the scenes doing some good things for some young kids when he was off the clock on his own time and taking kids out and playing the course and giving them lessons, not lessons, but life lessons and how to be better and manage things. And Charlie came home and he was so impressed. He says, I happened to be up there and Roger was off the clock and he took some young kids out and he was saying things to them like, you have to leave your driver here and play the course without that. Things that coaches say, and I'm married to a coach. So I want to recognize Roger because when you do things and your job tells you you get off at 5 or 7 or whatever his crazy hours are, and you go above and beyond, that's important when you're a community member and you see that. So I was so excited that Roger was here tonight to say thank you, Roger, because that came home and made an impression to my husband, who happens to be a coach. The other thing is, don't forget, Kim knows Pickleball League starts on Monday. So that's an exciting thing because the coach is home working right now on his lineup and who's playing when. But
I gotta get signed up for this.
yeah, because the deadline is Wednesday.
Or
Friday?
It's Friday at noon.
This way.
Okay.
Just give me your card, I'll do it.
Yeah, hand her over your debit card. So I would like you all to appreciate Roger because he goes above and beyond, and we don't always know that, so just thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Lisa, for sharing that. Is there anybody else that would like to come forward and questions, comments, encouragement? Mayor,
I have a couple
do you
things.
have some things?
Yeah, I want to say thank you to everybody because, as you know, our Parks Department's been transforming for several years now. And we're in another stage of transformation that I think will, in the future, make our programming more successful, more operationally sustainable, and we're making millions of dollars in investments in our parks. City of Madison has an extremely comprehensive park system, and we've been making the proper investment. And if it wasn't for Doug and Roger and Scott and Tanya and Kim and all the team that are out there, and Tony, for example, managing these projects. I know you don't hear a lot of good news every now and then, but I'd like to read you a little bit of mail. That's okay.
Sure.
This one says, "Dear Bob, I just want to take a moment to thank you for creating the new position that will bring more varied and active programming for Madison senior citizens. There are many more of us who would be involved if the options were more appealing. Thank you for your efforts." That's from Laura Hodges. And then we have a little card that people can pick up. It's a thank you card, and it's got a little bit about Madison in it, but anybody in the community can pick these up and send them in. And I received one in the mail. It said, "Thank you for putting the citizens of Jefferson County first, from the Senior Citizen Building and all the community." This is from Sharon Dagger. So, sometimes all you hear, sometimes are the negatives, because there's a lot of issues we face on a daily basis, but your efforts and the board's efforts and the golf board's efforts are not going unnoticed. I want to thank you guys for all that.
Thank you. I needed that. Anything else, Mayor?
We just need to keep lifting each other up.
Anybody else have anything to share? Because that wraps up our agenda.
Doug, no new news? Doug, you good?
Do we need to make, okay, so I'm not good with procedure. Do I need to make an amended motion to table that and vote on it?
Well, I don't,
Do I change my
was
motion
it out here as
I
an
made?
official,
No.
it was on a report. If it wasn't an action item, I wouldn't worry about
Okay,
the fact that you didn't take action on it.
okay. All right, well, if nobody else has anything, then I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for being here.
Quick one today.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Oh, the next meeting is Monday, June 5 at 5. Thank you.